things women have been through in this country, in the military, on the force.
Are you supporting his side?
I'm supporting my side.
You know, wow, and somebody, you know, just like it's just like on comment sections, like, well, since everybody talking about their issues, let me put mine in here. You know, it's like, wow, man. Do any dwarves want to come in and talk about how they feel? I was expecting them to do the, hey, man, no one ever talks down here. No one ever talks about me. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts. Now, if there was ever a time for a film like this, now is that time. If there was ever a time for a movie to stir up controversy, get these people all heated up, some people still using the word triggered out there, this would be the movie right here, because this movie has everything to get people heated out there. They got police shootings of unarmed black men. They got systemic racism. They got white privilege in there. You know, all the hits to keep you dancing. You know, all the classics, Martin. Get these people kind of wild and crazy out here.
Sweating to the oldies.
Yeah. Oh, people, we are talking about American Skin. This is the return of Nate Parker. We'll tell you who he is in a little bit. But that is exactly what you have in this movie. In case you want to know how all that fits together, Nate Parker plays the father of a 14-year-old boy. There seems to be one of those routine stops one night where they say they feel like they're being profiled. The 14-year-old boy gets shot. Father does not feel like, father whose name is Link, played by Nate Parker, he feels like he has not received justice, and we've seen how all this plays out. And a lot of times when it plays out that way, people just have to sit back and say, well, we can only hope that it just gets better. Mm-hmm. And he said, that. I'm picking up these weapons, these guns. I'm getting my boys and my cousins together. We go to the police station. We taking shit over. And if you ain't going to give us justice, we'll take it. And he says, well, you know what? Let's turn the tables and have a court. One that I reside over this time. You know, a court of my peers. And let's see how that works out. Let's see how it feels when it's reversed on you. Oh, and by the way, if you're found guilty, just say, hey, that's what you did to us. So you can see how this probably has a little people hyped up just a little bit. Or does it? Some people, I thought I would have heard more about this movie. People have asked us, a handful of people have asked us to talk about this because of the controversial nature of this movie, American Skin, and that's what we're going to do right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer which actually had people talking for a little while, and then we'll come back with our review.
That's all I want. This is your jury. The deciders of your fate.
Shit. Well, we're doomed. Well, that's my ass right there. Brother, them brothers in orange jumpsuits. He's like, shit. Okay. Hey, you know what? Just give me the gun. I'll shoot myself, man.
I just save us all a bunch of time.
Yeah, you know what? Just blow my head off now. Shit.
Are you afraid?
I just figured that was a rhetorical question.
People, you saw this is also a Spike Lee joint. Spike Lee, of course, not being any kind of stranger to controversy out there. Also, we're talking about controversies. We're also talking about a very controversial director here and actor. The name Nate Parker sounds familiar. That is because, and this is him right here, that face looks familiar. That's because y'all might remember his name being touted about as a rising talent thanks to his film that came out a few years ago, and then all of a sudden just kind of fell off.
These books are for white folks. They're full of things your kind wouldn't understand.
Especially by one of their own.
That's Birth of a Nation right there. And that was a movie that was the Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Boy, them D's,
don't get it confused.
Yeah, this is the total opposite of that other movie, Birth of a Nation. This is The Birth of a Nation. Nat Turner. This is the Uprise movie where that's the one. Right? This is a movie where he played the slave Nat Turner, who was told to go in and preached the good gospel to his fellow slaves so he could keep them calm. But he finally said, you know what, this
is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, he said, yeah, you know what, here's a scripture for you, rise. But and of course that's when slave movies were in fashion. Before we start talking about, man, I'm tired of these struggle movies.
It was probably the last of them.
It was, yeah. This is one that we like. Okay, all right.
You put a lot of good work into this. We're gonna let this one slide, but that's it.
Yeah, and this was something that, of course, being a slave movie, Hollywood was jumping all over because it was a great story. It's a guy he's been around, but now he's coming up and he's made the kind of black movies that Hollywood likes. However, there was a very controversial sexual assault case. Now, he went to court and got acquitted and everything, but at that time, it was too late. That was also kind of the beginning of the Me Too movement, too.
It got dragged out at the worst time.
Yep, and it's kind of put a little stall on his career. I'm not walking in here with any kind of baggage, man. I'm gonna judge this movie as a movie, and that's exactly how I'm gonna look at it. I'm not. If that makes you mad, then I don't know what to tell you. If this was something where I felt like he got away with something, I wouldn't even watch the movie. But he had his day in court. Whatever happens. I don't know what to tell you. So just letting you know ahead of time. Now, let me just say this, man. I am 100% behind this movie right here, man. 100%. And what this movie has to say. It's very relevant to what's happening right now. I couldn't be more behind what this movie's trying to say after the images that we saw in the Capitol.
Sure. Because
really what this is saying is that, this movie's talking about how unarmed men, but in this particular case, black men, that's almost epidemic that's happening right there. Every time somebody wants to say that they're killing us, man, they're killing us, people's like, well, you know what? These guys have a hard time, and I back the blue.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, he feared for his life. And, well, what about this, though? Well, what about black on black crime?
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with what we're talking about
back the blue until y'all back them fools into a corner and beat their asses. And so right now, I don't want to hear anybody look at this movie and talking about, well, this is very disrespectful to police because y'all didn't give a fuck about the police when y'all were doing this. Y'all killed the policeman. And by the way, nobody's using that as a political story because it doesn't serve their purpose. Nobody's talking about that because it doesn't serve their purpose. But all right, whatever, man. So this movie couldn't come at a better time if you ask me. I dare you to say something in my face about it. And it also addresses something that we talked about all the time. It's very one-sided and hypocritical how certain people are told to grab your weapons and defend yourself at all costs, stand your ground. That's a privilege that other people don't have, and this movie addresses that.
Yeah.
You are all I have that connects me to KJ.
Somebody's got to pay for what they did to him. We the only people expected to take it on the cheek and take it on the other cheek and then walk it off.
Been saying that.
He ain't wrong.
Been saying that for years, boy. Shit, we celebrate 4th of July, which is one of the biggest uprisings ever, because that was for freedom. But we get together for a barbecue, the police get called. Come on, man. So I completely support fucking support what this movie's trying to do right here. How it did it, not so much. I don't know where we're gonna stand on this, but this puts me in a weird position because as much as I stand behind the message of this movie, I also got to kind of pull and step back a little bit because that message is so heavy. If it falls over, I might get crushed by that shit, man. It is something where, look, Nate Parker in this particular movie is so concentrated on what he has to say. In my opinion, the way he tells it suffers, man. And the way he tells it suffers, and that makes the filmmaking suffer in this for me. One of the things that I thought was a big flaw with the movie is the approach of taking the. Okay, so what I didn't tell you about earlier is that a lot of the movie is being done from the perspective of some college amateur filmmakers who are coming in. They're doing a project for school, and they want to talk about a year after the death of and his name is Link in the movie. Nate Parker's character. He goes by Link for short. After the death of Link's son, they want to do a documentary about that. And so a lot of times you see in the point of view of the camera. You're given the point of view of the filmmakers, of the college students. And I just thought that was not a good decision to do. First of all,
how come? I'm curious.
Well, you know, I'll get to that. First of all, I'll tell you this, because I can tell you like this much better than I do, and I did not really like this at all. I really feel bad about that because I really want to be behind the movie, but you know, I got to judge it as a film. First of all, there's a point in here where the brother don't even know what a film festival is. I'm just kind of like, God damn, man. You know, it's a film festival, man.
Who will all this be seen by?
My class, mostly. A festival is like a group of public screenings, only it's curated. So people get dressed up,
He
they go
confused
see
as fuck right now. Tell me more about this festival.
Or he's just going like, all right, what's your definition of festival?
It's like, brother, it's a festival where they show films. It ain't that hard right there. The reason why I'm talking about that is because that's just the beginning of how he, you know, Nate Parker in his dialogue and his message, he really is laying stuff out and over-explaining things to audiences, or just being, you know, just being somewhat almost condescending to the audience that he has right there. You asked me why I did not like the aspect of the filmmakers there. Several reasons why. One is because the POV of the filmmakers, it becomes confusing in the movie. You know, who's filming? Is it the kids? Am I watching the actual movie? Is this the real camera? Okay, so you came in, you know, with a couple cameras. Now, where's this other fucking camera coming from? Where's this other point? Who's this phantom person filming? And it also just makes it makes the movie seem a little cheap. It makes it feel like it's cheaper than what it probably means to look like. There are moments where, you know, they when they're filming it, it's being that it's supposed to be a documentary. Sometimes I think that they let these people improvise, and they're not improvising very well. It sounds like it sounds like a really bad stage play sometimes. Like people are just yelling, you know, because that says drama right there. You know, I thought that was a good idea to have the documentary aspect to it, because that's the point. He wanted to show the world. It's just from a filmmaking standpoint, it just wasn't that good, I think.
Something I disagree with you on with this is where you say this is the perfect time for this movie, and I feel like 6 or 7 months ago was the perfect time for this movie. Like when the protest, the peaceful protest against racial violence from police was at its height. That was the time for this movie.
Yeah.
Now this movie has our hero taking over a police station and holding the police hostage while he holds a mock trial. And this is what we've had these rioters and militia try to do. So the minute he came in saying he's going to do that, I first thought, ooh, that's shit. Yeah, that's not. I don't know. Now, granted, I do like this movie more than you, but I do think it doesn't work. And the big reason I think it doesn't work is that I think it doesn't work as a movie. This feels like something I would go see as a play. I'd come back and rave about it. It's having all these important conversations. It's a lot of back and forth. It's bringing up topics people don't talk about or don't really delve into. But the setup, like with a movie, like with a play, you can really play around with the reality.
Yeah.
And as you bring it into a movie and you get a more general audience, you got to stick closer to reality. It works as long as you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not think about it.
Now, you and I agree on that one thing, because I'm going to tell you something. There are some people who give, you know, and I say potentially because they're not, I don't think they're in the right movie for it, but they give some potentially great performances here. And you know, if they have given better material, they would be great performances. But I tell you why they're just not meeting their potential, because the best performances in the movie come about in the silliest part of the film. Man, look, you know, are these cops that are shooting black people, are they racist? Or are they just terrible fucking cops because they took over that station way too easy? They went
well,
in.
no, I think you're the cops. You're not expecting people to come in and take over.
Expecting people, but
especially with assault weapons.
I just don't think that to me, it was not convincing the way they took this station over right here. If some people did, I have no problem with that. But it's once they get inside the station, that's where I had a problem. A lot of these cast members, as I said, they're doing the best that they can with this dialogue that they got. You know, I'm looking at some of the people, and I even like some of the characters in here. Like the guy who played the cop that actually that actually shot his son, Bo Knapp. I thought he was really good. And now what they did with that character, that's debatable, but I thought he was really good. You might remember if you watched
Luke Cage.
If you watch Luke Cage, you might remember. Let's see if I can find this guy here. There's a guy named Theo Rossi in the movie. I'll go over here. I'll find him. Let me see here. You might remember him in the film. Actually, we'll have no, I won't. You might remember this guy. I actually thought he was good.
I did not.
You didn't?
Yeah, I found him hard to believe.
And there he is right there. I didn't believe him because I thought his dialogue was terrible. Theo Rossi from Luke Cage. I thought his acting was good, but I thought his dialogue was terrible. And that's what I think about everybody in this once they get inside the station. I know that you said it would be a good play. Maybe
when I say a good play, I don't mean on the level of One Night in Miami or Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I mean an off-Broadway play.
People, this feels like, to me, it feels like high school students were given an assignment to write a scenario about racism. And this is what they came up with, because they are so heavy with what they're doing. I mean, the messages that they're doing it with very broad strokes. And it's like having a bunch of high school students who don't give a fuck about storytelling. It's just an assignment. They're not drama students. They're just doing what they're told to do. And this is what you have right here. Let's talk about police shooting black people. And this is what you get. And I'm not trying to be mean to Nate Parker. And I know what he wanted to do with this. I know. And like I said, there's a lot of people I like in this movie, man. Oh, what was the guy's name from Sorry to Bother You?
Omari Hardwick.
Omari Hardwick. I actually enjoyed him. They gave him a storyline. I like that they just introduced it, didn't try to follow through with it. I'm not going to tell you what's wrong with him, but I thought, okay, this is what you should have done. You introduce something, you weren't too heavy with it, you just let it play out. His character has a condition. They don't go in on that. They don't even do anything. They don't do anything modeling with it. That's fine. But the message that Nate Parker's trying to do here is way, way, way heavy, man. I tell you, the frustrating thing with this is that, this is the trial, and there's a lot of the back and forth between ideas and, prejudices and, social issues. And that would be good if I didn't feel like I already heard these arguments being played out in the comment section of a Facebook page. It actually feels, and if you listen to this, it actually feels like this is comment section, the movie.
Everyone knows the statistics on black crime.
Or Chinese killing Chinese.
Whites and the Chinese aren't the ones cramming the prison system.
They also weren't the ones.
You can feel people typing.
It's our job to get the bad people off the street, black, white, whatever color.
Systematic violence and terror aimed at one group of people.
These people they feel so fake, and they're taking their times, and really, that's what I mean by it. There's no subtlety to this at all.
No.
Over. Would you say that about the Holocaust?
The things women have been through in this country, in the military, on the force.
Are you supporting his side?
I'm supporting my side.
Wow, and somebody, just like it's just like on comment sections, like, well, since everybody talking about their issues, let me put mine in here. It's like, wow, man. Do any dwarves want to come in and talk about how they feel? I was expecting to do it. Hey, man, no one ever talks down here. No one ever talks about me. It's like, shit. Any gay people want to speak up? Anybody? It's like, I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to get a laugh. I'm just saying, for me, I'm like, God damn, man, this is not natural feeling dialogue. This is a guy who wants to represent a lot of messages here, and is and just putting it out there without any concern for narrative structure. The people that he thinks should probably listen to this, because this is pointing fingers, are the people going to be turned off by how heavy this is. I mean, like, well, fuck, you already got your mind made up, and I've already seen these discussions before. He's bringing really nothing new to it at all. But that's just me, man.
Well, just because it's not new to us doesn't mean it's not going to be new to somebody.
And I don't think that person's going to, in the way he's putting it out there, that person that it should be new to is not going to listen. But again, that's just me. I you know me, not how I am with dialogue, and I'm not talking about the movie needs to be completely subtle where, you have to really read into it to get it. But that is not this just doesn't seem very well put together to me.
Yeah,
really.
that's why I said this works better as a play where people are projecting out to the audience, and it would be more broad. As it is, because of the way it's written, it keeps you from turning off your brain at the lack of reality in the situation itself. When you look at the output of this movie's producer, Spike Lee, he does that all the time, and people just give him a pass for it. Like the Five Bloods is this all over, where I was just like, I want to like this, but it is no subtlety, and he's cramming in every issue he can think of, and I don't care for it, and it works only slightly better here because it's at least it's staying in one environment, but I don't know. Like your feelings, I wouldn't argue with you. I wouldn't say, man, you're wrong about that. It's like, I totally get it.
Well, I can tell you the difference for me between this and The Five Bloods and any other movie out there. I've seen this movie done, and I've seen it done better. Now, I don't hate this film, and I thought the same thing. I thought I didn't see Rotten Tomatoes, so I don't know what was being said. I don't know who's looking at it. I did think that maybe you'll have white people who look at it differently than black people because black people can surely relate. But, I don't know what white people are giving this. I don't know what they're saying. But I do know I've seen this done in better filmmaking. Mm-hmm. I'm judging this as a film. Like I said, I'm 100% behind what this movie's saying.
Yeah.
Difference between something like this and The Five Bloods. The Five Bloods had a lot more better dialogue. The Five Bloods had a lot better performances in there. The Five Bloods just had more style.
Filmmaking wise, yes. It certainly had more style. I will not take that away from it.
And the Five Bloods, even if they did get heavy-handed, it wasn't in long scenes of back and forth like this was.
It kind of was.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, you liked it less than I did, so I see something different. I want this movie to be something that gets his message out there, is seen. But again, I don't think that's the problem when you do filmmaking. I think when you said that this is good as a play, I see this. I don't know even about a play. I see this being done myself better as a dialogue with two people on stage going back and forth, sharing their ideas. I see it maybe better as a speech in the right place or the right time. But when you get to filmmaking, if you don't get that message right, if you come across too heavy, then that message is not going to be heard as much as it should.
Falls apart.
It does.
It makes people stop listening.
I'm not asking that this movie be this particular film, because this movie is a great movie, and that's why great movies are considered and praised like they are, because they're doing something that rarely somebody does. Mm-hmm, so I'm not asking anybody to be up to this standard right here, but this movie was trying to do this. And it does give an example of what I mean by, do your message more when you're making a movie. Do your message more creatively, and don't spend all your time cramming and force feeding the audience the message. Let the people enjoy themselves and let the message flow and let the message feel natural. Enjoy your characters. Be engrossed in your characters. Don't have them reading stuff from a comment section online.
What is this?
Hey, I would like to get out.
Look at this.
A better one in the glove, though.
Yeah.
I'm not asking this movie to have the same budget as this. I'm not asking to have the same tone. I'm not asking to have the same writing. But what they did was they concentrated on, they had a message. They knew what the message was, and they said, but let's make a movie first.
Let's make a movie first,
and then let the message naturally be delivered to people. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you hit people too hard with it, they're going to fight back. They're going to defend themselves. They're going to put their defenses up. If people have their guard down and you draw them into your message, they will listen. And that's what, and with this, the movie drew attention to itself, and I just thought it hit too hard. And that's a shame, because I really do think that people need to hear this. And I think it's, there are moments in here that, there are moments where they get it just right. That moment where he's talking to his wife and talking about how, they get to do this all the time and we don't. That was a good moment right there. I'm behind the movie, 100%. If people see it, I'll be happy for them to see it. But I have to judge it as a film, man, and as a movie, it really doesn't hold up. This is the lower end of a rental for me. It's just like, I'll go with rental, but if I had to if that message wasn't there and I had to judge it by a movie on its own, this would be a low rental right here.
But it does end in a place where I was like, yeah, I'm not digging that so much.
Oh, I hate the ending of this.
That ending
is so predictable. I meant to say that. I had my notes ready.
It really takes too predictable, unrealistic.
I was
ending.
going to say it's predictable for several reasons, and I hated the ending.
I did hate the ending, and so whereas I thought I would go higher, it ends up being just more of a high rental for me.
I can't stand that ending. So yeah, I'm giving this a low rental, man. It's definitely in the low rental area because that ending just did. It's like, man, you have a chance to redeem yourself right here.
Yeah.
Nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
Nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
Man, I said, and the thing is, I know you ain't gonna do this right here, and because the ending not only has very, very cheesy dialogue, and they did take a moment to where, because there's moments in the movie where, this is what I'm talking about with filming, and you don't know if it's a documentary or if it's the movie itself. Because there are moments where the character will look at the screen and say something. And I was like, who the fuck they looking at? They looking at me, And it turns out they were looking at the documentary camera, our filmmaker right there. And I was like, and at the end of the movie, they deliver this big heavy message, and they even go like, "You mean these people here?" And it's like, oh, come on, man. And then they do, I'm not going to say what it is, but they do something else right after that. And I'm just like, I knew it. I knew it.
They do 2 or 3 things right after that where it's like, if you would just cut it off right there, this would have been better.
And it's unrealistic too.
Yeah,
but they have several speeches at the end when I'm just rolling my eyes and I'm like, no, stop it. Yeah, because it's
like I said, it needs to be workshopped. He's full of passion and ideas and didn't take enough time to really work it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it, people. Nah, but I tell you what, you can guess it if you really think hard enough. I tell you, it's a black man that held up a
police station.
A police station, and I mean, come on, it's just like, all right, and you watching it, you're just like, don't do this.
Because it really seemed like, oh, hey, you're gonna not do that, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.